guys. I'm Bailey.
And I'm Mallory.
And we are Those Other Girls, changing culture and bringing back traditional values. Today we are going to be talking about a big important topic for a lot of women, a tough topic, fitness and self-esteem.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to point it out because it's going to bother me. Okay, as you can see, Bailey is wearing actual workout clothes. If you're watching, and I'm wearing a dress. I do not wear dresses when I work out. I just didn't bring a workout outfit. So this is the big elephant in the room, and it's going to bother me throughout this entire episode. So I just wanted to point it out.
Okay, to be fair though, I'm wearing wedges that are tennis shoes as well.
True.
So I also don't work out in these, so it's way cuter than my normal workout outfit as well.
Fair. But I really like the top. I like if you're listening, she has like this
red crisscross.
Yep, crisscross was the word I was looking for.
Well, you've got a crisscross on your dress, so we kind of match.
Kind of,
which
yes.
is nice.
Yeah, unintentionally, but that happens, you know.
My favorite part that people, again, can't see because I'm under the table, but I got these new leggings from my friend Alicia. She is selling Savvy clothes. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
I've never heard of them.
They're like this new brand. But anyway, I've got these cute leggings that are all distressed and like they have holes and they're super cute. So yeah. I've been loving these, but I love my workout clothes.
Yeah. Yeah. I love a good pair of workout pants specifically.
I never wore like leggings and like sportswear until the quarantine. Like legit.
Really? So what would you work out in?
Well, I mean, I'd work out in it, but like I'd never like lounge in it, you know, like or go to the store. Right. I've never been in. I mean, I've seen other people do it and I was always like, oh, it looks cute. I'm just not that kind of I'm not that kind of girl. And now I am that kind of girl and I love it.
See, I don't do that. I really want to get into athleisure, but I don't know. I feel like that's not fully me, but I feel eventually though, like if I really do get into this whole fitness thing, I know I will.
I can see you though, like rocking hot pink like leggings and a matching top, or like some kind of really cute like athleisure outfit
and a hat. To add the hat.
Add the hat. Always add the hat.
Yeah, because that really like puts it all together.
There you go.
But yeah, so that was just a fun tangent. Like Bailey said, we're both on a fitness health journey, and we did want to talk about it because it is a woman's issue. It's something that everybody goes through. It's something that, and people have been going through this like since we were kids.
Right.
Like I remember the first time I realized that I was quote unquote fat or chubby, whatever, was in the 3rd grade. So I remember like, I feel like I've been trying to lose weight since the 3rd grade. So it's just something that we all have gone through. And I think it is good for us to talk about it, especially also to talk about it from our Christian conservative perspective, because you're going to hear things from everybody.
Oh yeah.
There's the camp. So, you know, I'll talk about myself, my journey, whatever. For a while, like I said, I've been trying to quote unquote lose weight since the 3rd grade. There was a time where I was very much like, you know what, this is probably how I'm going to be the rest of my life. I'm just meant to be fat. Like it was weird. So in my dreams, this is so dumb. In my dreams, I'm not fat. I don't know what that means. But in my dreams, I'm not fat. And then I had a dream where I was fat in my dream. And then I thought, that's God. He's saying I'm just going to be fat forever. And I'm just going to embrace it. So then I started following Tess Holliday. And I started following other plus-size women. And I got really involved in the body positive movement. And, you know, there has to be a balance.
Absolutely.
Because there was a time, and I've gotten better. I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not, you know, I don't think I'm like a 10 out of 10, not yet.
Working on it.
I'm working on it every day. But, you know, there was a time where I had way lower self-esteem, and I thought that, you know, I'm beautiful the way I am, you know, even though I'm a pretty big girl, I'm beautiful, and I had that, and you know, you're hearing Tess Hollidays, you're hearing all these other women talk about how they're fine, and they don't have to make any improvements, and there's nothing wrong with you. Men should like you for how you look right now, and there has to be a balance because you know, during that time when I was really to be honest, when I was really into the body positive movement, I was not liking myself at all. Yeah. Which is the exact opposite. And I think I'm not the only person.
But I think that's what it is it's insecurity. And so you make yourself feel better by saying, oh, I'm perfect. Oh, I'm amazing. Right. But you don't actually feel that way.
Right. And I know I'm not the only person who was in it or who is in it now that felt that way. Because honestly, that was probably at my low, like when my self-esteem was at my lowest. Yeah. And watching all these women, because I mean, I'm a girl who likes romantic stories. I want to be married one day. So watching these women that are bigger be with men, I'm like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. Right. But then, the reality is when I look at the men that were dating them, it wasn't someone I would want to date anyway. Right. And some of them, the women who are in this whole thing, they're dating like feeders. So a feeder is like a guy who wants a girl to keep eating, and it's unhealthy, right, and it's not right. So it's not, I'm seeing all these things, picturing all this stuff, so I want that. But then one day I just was like, okay, this is like getting ridiculous. Like my self-esteem has not gotten better. Mm-hmm. The reality is I'm not healthy. I mean, and I'm in not a weird position, but I'm in a position where like it's not healthy because I should not have this much weight, but it's also I don't have any like physical problems. Like I don't have diabetes or anything like that. So that's why that's the biggest reason why I didn't care for the longest. Because I'm like, my doctor says I'm fine. My heart is good. I don't have blood. I know people who weigh less than me that have diabetes. I'm invincible. Like that's what I was thinking. Like
we all think that. I think to a certain extent. Yeah. And I think, like you said, there's a balance. And I think that the big thing to remember is that you are beautiful. Right. And even if you're heavy, like you're still beautiful. Right. But that doesn't mean it's healthy. Right. That doesn't make it a good thing. That doesn't make it a positive thing. Right. We shouldn't encourage people to get bigger, to stay fat, to stay unhealthy. Right. But that doesn't mean you're not beautiful. You're still made in God's image. He still loves you, whether you're 10 pounds or 1,000 pounds. Like it doesn't matter,
Right. Your value cannot be in that. Correct. Your value cannot be in it. At the end of the day, God loves you no matter how you look, no matter what you, no matter how much you weigh. Right. But you do have to realize, I've been thinking about this I try to think about it from a different perspective so I can actually like stick with it. Yeah. Is if my body's a temple, then I need to be taking care of it. And the way to take care of it is to, not be putting so much pressure on my heart because, doing more research, I guess like realistically, if I kept up this lifestyle, by the time I'm like 35 or so, I could hurt myself. Right. Right now I'm fine. Right. I'm, young and blah, blah, blah. But like, years of this, and if our body's a temple, then I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. So I think that when you come at it from that perspective, it can help you a lot, especially when like, because I know I'm not the only other girl who is like about my size that has no real issues. Like, so it's hard to like get the motivation because that's the other thing too. It's hard to lose weight.
It is very hard to lose weight. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, this is bad. There are men who struggle with this too, but I feel like it's hard to lose weight unless you're a man. And I say that just because like watching my husband and a lot of his friends, his family, like they go to the bathroom and they lose 10 pounds.
Yeah, like, no, for real. Like, that's the thing.
Like he'll eat 3 times as much as I do, not work out, and lose a pound the next day. And I do like a full workout routine, drink all my water, watch what I eat, and I stay the same or I gain a little bit. And I'm like, how does he just lose weight? I mean, I know it's metabolism, it's your family, it's how you're built. Like that's for me, that's where my weight loss struggle started with. So it's kind of twofold. Obesity has been a thing in my family forever. Everybody in my family has struggled with obesity on both sides of my family. Oh, wow. And so I think, my mom just from when I was little was always like, you've got to watch it. And she didn't mean it to be like harsh or like mean. Yeah. It was just like, you've got to watch it because this is what our family struggles with. We don't have a good metabolism. We do carry extra weight, especially around our midsection. There was just a lot of things that she told me as a kid. And so I was always conscious of my weight. Like I don't remember ever not being conscious of it. Yeah. And then I started pageantry, which is like taking fitness to a whole nother extreme. And I was always the chubby girl in pageants. And even at my skinniest, when I look back now and I go, my gosh, I was so skinny. I was never toned. I didn't have like abs or like, muscles, but I was skinny. And I'm just like, there I was thinking I was fat because I was the biggest girl there. But in pageant world, that means I was really skinny, And I remember getting told by some judges when I was like 13 that I needed to eat nothing but rice and chicken and work out in the gym 6 hours a day if I wanted to make it in the pageant world. And it was just like, okay, I'm never going to do that. You know, I'm never going to make it that far. And now looking back, like that's just an unrealistic standard.
Yeah.
And there are some girls who want that, who do that, who are able to do that, and more power to them, because I just didn't have and that's the thing, I knew it wasn't for me. I knew that I didn't have the discipline to sit there and work out as hard and as much as it would have taken to get there.
Yeah.
But I definitely have had my struggles in terms of falling off the diet wagon, the exercise wagon. You know, you do the fad diets, you pick something up, you do it for a week, you put it down, you know. And I feel like I'm finally on this journey that, especially like you said, we've got this page now that we're doing to hold each other accountable, to hold ourselves accountable to you all that are listening and watching. Like we have, it's at Those Other Girls Weight Loss is our podcast, or our
Instagram page.
for our weight loss journey. And just like knowing like, and like even like when the other day I went to just put on like a cute workout outfit to put on our story, and I was like, well, I put on the workout outfit, I might as well actually do the workout. And it inspired me, like it motivated me. And so I think, you know, I think we all need accountability, because that's always been my thing, is like I'll start something and I'll feel proud of myself, or I won't even see results, but I feel like, oh, at least I'm doing it. So I think holding each other accountable is going to be really helpful. Yeah.
No, seriously, like accountability is really big for me too. Like I have friends who are on similar journeys, but just like everything else, sometimes we're doing it together, then sometimes like something happens and like I fall off the wagon, or like something happens, she falls off the wagon. But I think like with the page and like with us doing this and is accountable, the biggest thing for me is like that's part of the reason why I think I've never like had a weight loss page before. I've thought about it, but I'm like, no, because like if I stop, it's going to be super embarrassing.
Right. If I don't do it, then what?
Right. So now that I have one and it's attached to like this podcast, now I'm like, okay, I really need to do this.
And now we have an episode where we're talking about doing it. We're committing to it. Like this is a vow.
Right. No, seriously. Because like a year from now, I cannot look like this, or I'm going to be a hypocrite.
Right.
Like, and that's not what I am. That's not what I want to be.
And that's the thing, is like we all hit struggles. Like there are going to be times in your life, like there are seasons of sadness or depression. There are seasons of insecurity. There are seasons where, like when you have kids, obviously you're going to gain weight. There are going to be times where, I don't know, something happens in your life, somebody that you know dies. You know, there's going to be points in your life where you're not able to stick to it as good. But right now, in the quarantine, we've got nothing else going on. Like, I feel like I can't make excuses anymore. It's like I'm just being lazy, and I'm just being unhealthy. I have plenty of time to go to the grocery store and pick out veggies and cook good, healthy meals. I have plenty of time to do a workout routine.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm not doing it is because I'm lazy.
Yeah, that was another thing too about the pandemic. Like when it first happened, that was one of the first things I told myself. I was like, you know what? I have the time. I went and I bought weights. I bought a bunch of stuff, which I'm just also too, I'm better like in a gym, and my boxing gym, shout out to 9 Rounds, 9 Rounds Charlotte. Mark, hey, he's super nice. He's like the trainer. He's in charge of it. And, going there has been like really beneficial.
That's awesome.
Like when that happened, I was like, okay, I'm using this time to do that, because and I want to be careful saying that, because I know that there are some people who like mentally, like that was the other thing too.
Some people needed a mental workout or refresh,
or like
reboot.
Yeah. But there's those of us who like, I do want to encourage, I do want to talk to you. So if you felt like you had to take a break, like this isn't for you. But those of us that like we could do it, like I told myself, I was like, I'm going to do this. Like now is the time. I'm not going to. The reality is, I don't know if we'll ever but I don't know anything. That's one thing this year, so I don't know anything. But I don't think we're ever going to have a break like this again. So I'm like, let me go and do something.
Right.
And then when 9 Rounds started, I started following them on Instagram, and what was really cool was they were doing workouts outside before they opened up the studio. So like they were doing really good, intense boxing stuff. And
that's
like
awesome.
Other
that
cardio.
Kicks your butt.
Oh, it does. It really does. Like I had never this might be TMI, but I had never like sweat through a shirt before. Like I've sweat before. Like I sweat like nobody's business.
But outside, especially in the humidity, oh my gosh, girl, I bet you were dying.
Yeah, but that's a good thing though.
Absolutely.
Like I was so happy. I was like, oh my, like I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh my,
I started doing a 28-day Chloe Ting challenge, and she's so funny. I love her videos, especially her reaction videos. She's hilarious. But I started doing this workout, and it's the furthest I've ever gotten into like a challenge.
Nice.
Like I used to run 5Ks when I was younger, really? Just on a treadmill indoors, like at the gym, like. I didn't like do a race or anything. I probably should have.
Oh my, we should do that. Cool. Like a fun one, like a mud one.
Yeah.
Like the Mud Princess.
Yeah, no, we could definitely do that. I've got family who does a lot of those, so I'm sure they can give us some tips. But I mean,
not a half marathon.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I used to do those, but it was never scheduled. It was never planned. Like I would just go and I would run and I would come home and maybe I'd do that 3 times a week. Maybe I'd do that once a week. Maybe I wouldn't do it. Maybe I'd do it 10 times a week. It just depended on the week.
Oh, wow.
And so I actually had a friend who texted me and she was super motivated to work out. And so we started this challenge together and we would text each other just like, hey, did you do your workout today? And like, we're 15 days in. We've both kind of had days where we're like, oh, I didn't do it today, but I'll do it tomorrow. And like, there are rest days, so we try to make up for it. But it's the most consistent I've ever been. And I feel so good. But same thing, like when I'm doing it, I've never sweat so much in my life than I have during her videos. Like and I'm doing the modifications. Like when she says like, you can do it from your knees. I'm like, if it was not on my knees, I would like fall over. Like I'm not able to do that.
That's so funny. Yeah.
So I'm getting stronger. I can feel myself doing less of the modifications and I'm sweating like crazy and I feel it. I feel better.
Yes. I'm right there with you. And that, I mean, honestly, more than anything, that is a reason to want to go on a journey because you just feel better. And like my friend and I always talk about non-scale goals. So one of my non-scale goals, like I said, I'm doing like the whole boxing thing is, one of my non-scale goals is to continue to move up with weights.
Yeah, you said you just moved to 12.
Yes,
right?
I just moved to 12. And that's awesome. That might not sound like but that's really good for me.
That's a lot.
I'm super happy about that. And
I remember doing bar class with 2-pound weights and it's like, oh, this is killing me.
Yeah,
so 12 pounds
when I first started,
harsh.
5 was like, oh my God. Okay, whew, I did 5. All right, I need like 10 minutes of rest. I need 10 minutes to rest. I need 10 minutes to rest. I can't do anymore. But now 12 is hard, but like I would not have been able to do that at the beginning. So those things are so good. Like you feel yourself feeling better.
Yeah.
And I think God designed our bodies that way. So that's why that happens.
Yeah, and that actually reminds me. So the verse that I was going to read for this, that feeds right into it. So the verse that I thought about for this episode was Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good, and what is acceptable and perfect. And I think it's one of those things, I feel like for me, this was God's will. His plan for me was, like you said, using this time. Some people, it wasn't in the cards for them for this season. But for me, it was like, I knew that the renewal of my mind meant focusing on God's will, and I needed to, like you said, treat my body like a temple, take better care of it, take better care of his creation. And so that's the verse that's been helping me, motivating me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really good. When you were saying, say the beginning again real quick. There's something you said that I want to talk about.
Do not be conformed to this world.
Do not be conformed to this world. That really, first of all, that is a verse that I think about a lot.
Yeah.
Because I am a people person. I'm very extroverted. And don't want to say I'm easily influenced, but I like culture. I like being in the know. So I know that I can get very, for lack of a better word, cultured, when the reality, especially now, Christ over culture.
Right.
Like that's Christ is more important.
Well, and like you said, being conformed to this world, the world's standards of beauty change. I mean, what they like sometimes is not always healthy. Sometimes they like heavier, unhealthy. Right. Sometimes they like skinnier, anorexic, unhealthy.
Yeah.
And either way, it's not healthy and you're not treating your body well. Whether you're super skinny and you're either purging your food or you're not eating food or you're getting too big and you're part of the body positive.
Yeah.
I'm beautiful just the way I am.
Right.
And you're putting your heart at risk. You're putting diseases at risk. You're getting in the high range of risk of all of these things.
Yeah.
That's conforming to the world's beauty standards or
exactly.
the culture.
Yeah.
Not to God. God
yes.
wants you to treat your body well. That doesn't necessarily mean you have 6-pack abs. That doesn't mean that you're anorexic. You know, it's treating your body well.
Yeah, and I think also being like a little bit overweight is not, I think people,
it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. And I think whenever, I know, I'll use myself for example. Whenever I share anything on Facebook about me wanting to lose weight or like the BMI chart, I shared that a couple months ago, and
everybody comes in, oh, you're so beautiful. It's okay. And it's like, I need some motivation though.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. That's what everybody says. You're so beautiful. Or they're like, oh, well, if I blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's not that I don't necessarily think that I'm beautiful. It's not that I don't necessarily like agree, but like at the end of the day, there's a difference between like being overweight and obese. And like, you know, it's hard for me to say, but it's the truth. And I think I should say it. Like right now, I am morbidly obese. Like that's just the truth of the matter.
The BMI scale.
Yeah. The BMI. Yes. And like at the end of the day, that's not healthy. That's not where I should be.
Right.
And I think people, when you say stuff like that, they get super defensive about like who they are. So people who are like a little bit overweight are like, no, you're fine and I'm fine. This is, and it's
I get the same thing because I'm right on that edge of overweight, almost to the obese line as far as BMI goes, which I look at myself and I don't feel that way when I see myself or when I try on clothes and stuff. But like, that's what doctors and all of these professionals have determined is unhealthy.
Yeah.
And people like don't want to accept that. It's like, oh, well, you're beautiful. And I'm like, well, thank you. And like you said, I don't disagree. Like I'm not, you know, obviously I think we're all insecure. We all don't like go, oh yeah, I'm so gorgeous. Like you're always insecure, but like I'm secure in who I am with Christ. I'm secure in who he made me, but I'm unhealthy and I could be healthier.
Yeah.
And people don't want to be like, oh yeah, you could be. Let me help you.
Yes. Okay. So speaking on that too, I listened to Luke Narwhal. I think everybody, if you're on a health journey, you should find him on YouTube. All he does is like read Reddits from like threads about weight loss. And like, that's kind of weird. I know, saying it out loud now that I just listen to people read Reddits, but whatever. And he does one, like there'll be different ones. And like one of the ones was like, I think it was like, what is an unexpected thing that happened when you lost a bunch of weight? And there's been tons of those. So one of the thing that's like super common is like people say that like their friends and their families or like people are like not really encouraging them. Everybody is like quiet and silent when you're gaining the weight. Everybody's like, oh, no big deal. I'm not going to say
anything. I don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't want to make her feel bad.
Right. But when you start losing weight or talking about losing weight, or if you lose a lot of weight, everybody has 10 cents they want to put in. Oh, I think you should, like, you're good now. I think you should stop. Or, you know what, you really didn't need to lose that much. Or, wow, like one thing someone thought that like really made me think, because someone had made a comment like this to me before, was about tracking your calories. The guy was like, yeah, people thought I should stop tracking my calories, but like, sometimes you need to, because I know for myself, if I don't track my calories, I'm just eating galore. Like, I have to.
Right.
And the reality is, for me, I know that's something I'm going to probably have to do until the day I die.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, that's just how my metabolism is. That's just how God made it. That's just how my brain is wired. I just need to track my calories. But you say that to the wrong person, oh, that's terrible.
Right. You shouldn't have to do that.
You shouldn't have to do that. But like,
yeah, I don't think it's bad at all. I mean, I don't think
it's bad either.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a great point about tracking your calories. I do that too. I mean, I track sometimes. I mean, I've gotten much better at like eyeing my portion controls.
Yeah.
And like for me, it's easier to count the calories when I eat out, just because they like pre-fill, like, oh yeah, a Chipotle burrito is this many calories. And so I'm like, okay, that's easy. But like when I'm at home, if I'm measuring stuff out, like I'll measure stuff out, but I'm like, I don't want to sit there and add like I added this much rice and this much cilantro. But I know like bodybuilders that will like track every gram of protein, every gram of sugar, every gram of carb, you know, trying to.
I weigh my stuff too, actually.
Yeah. And see, that to me, that's just too much for me to do. I can't do it. But they're also going for sometimes specific goals, you know, like especially if they're in a show.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to have this specific muscle showing, and that's what your goal is. Okay, that's very different from where I'm at. I'm just trying to be healthy and lose some weight and you know, be ready to become a mom and like be healthy.
Yeah.
So to each their own. I mean, I really don't think that it's good to tell anybody that what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
When it comes to weight loss, because it's like it works for me. Now, obviously, there's the unhealthy, like if you're doing it too much and you're limiting your calories too much, if you're exercising too much. I mean, there are bad things to any extreme.
Right.
But if you're just counting your calories and you're eating a normal, healthy amount of calories and you just want to track them because it helps you portion control and make sure you're on track, I don't see a problem with that. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the biggest thing, because there's a lot of surprising things that people say during those Reddits or whatever.
Yeah, I bet.
I think the biggest thing is people are insecure about themselves, about the things that they're doing, and then they kind of put it on you. And especially if you've been the fat friend for so long, or the fat one, or like the fat cousin, or whatever it is, people get really insecure and they get uncomfortable because it's like, well, that person's like that now and I'm like this, so what does that say about me?
Right.
And yeah, I think it's other people's insecurities why people make comments like that.
Well, I think people hopped onto that body positive movement.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to, I think these days everybody wants a participation trophy.
Yes.
And nobody actually wants the competition. And it's like sometimes you have to be told hard things. Sometimes the truth is hard and it hurts. And honestly, if you're not healthy, we should talk about that.
Yes.
Either direction, no matter what's wrong with you, we should talk about it. Now, that doesn't mean we can't be loving. Obviously, we're going to be loving. We're going to be compassionate. We know that it's not easy. We've all, like you said, struggled with some kind of weight problem at some point. If you're skinny, you want more muscles. If you have muscles, you want more definition. If you are, exactly. If you're anorexic, you always think you're too fat, even if you're just skin and bones. If you're bulimic, you're purging your food, even if you're skin and bones. If you're too fat, you're too fat. And it's hard to hear it, and nobody likes to say that, but it's true.
Yeah. And so I also watch other people who have like lost weight and they'll do videos about it. And another one I really like is Obese to Beast. His story is fantastic. It's amazing. And he was like reviewing someone else, and it was a fat or body positive. Sometimes they say fat positive person. And they were talking about like, if your doctor is saying all X, Y, and Z is because of your weight, then there's a problem with your doctor. And it's like, no, your doctor is trying to help you. Yeah. Now, okay, maybe so. One of the comments, someone was like, my doctor said I need to lose weight because X, Y, and Z. Actually, I had a tumor. Okay, of course. Like, all right.
Sure, doctors make mistakes. They're not perfect.
But, like, I mean,
the majority of us know.
Yeah, and a good chunk of, like, a lot of your medical issues are connected to your weight. Yeah. That's just a fact of reality. And I think people don't want to hear that because some people really, because it's so hard. I think that's the thing, too. It's so hard.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. And the biggest thing is, like, especially when you are, like, actually like obese, it doesn't, like, you didn't get there all on your own, in the sense of like, it's not just from eating, it's from, there's other emotional things, because I know like for myself, like I'm an emotional person and I feel things probably deeper than I should, which is something I'm working on,
Same here.
Like the Bible says, like cast all your cares and like take hold of your emotions. Yeah. And that's something that I really need to work on. So like a lot of that
together too.
Yeah. No, seriously. Like a lot of my problems are like weight related because I'm an emotional eater as well. A lot of that is connected to that. So you don't just get there from, it's not just you eat and lay. Right. I know a lot of people think that, like people who are really fat or whatever, people think, oh, all they do is just eat and like sleep. And that's not, there's emotional stuff at this. Yeah. Once you get to a certain weight, is an emotional reason, like why you're that way. Like it's not just that. So I think that because of that, people get so defensive and they don't want to do anything about it. They don't want to have you say something about it.
They're already hiding something. So their emotional problem they're already keeping in, or I mean, they could even be going to counseling about it, but it's still something they're working through. And so it's like they're already hiding that, so they disguise it in this body positive movement. And I think if everybody was more open and honest, we'd find out like, hey, I have problems too. Because that's the thing is, even when I was in pageants and I was skinny, I had friends obviously who weren't in pageants, who weren't skinny, and they would always get so mad at me when I would talk about my weight. And they'd be like, well, you're so skinny, like you don't have a right to complain. And I'm like, my whole family has struggled with obesity. People don't see that. Like, I understand where I'm going. I may not be there yet, but I have to watch this every day for the rest of my life or I'll get there.
And I was just about to say, those people were looking at you and they don't know the hard work that you put to be where you are. Right. Yeah, you might not be, 200, 300 pounds, but like you worked hard to get there, and you can be upset about how hard it is to get there.
They're looking at me and they're like, well, you're skinnier than I am. Yeah. So obviously if you're skinnier than I am, you're not fat. And it's like, well, I mean, we can both be overweight. Yeah. And we both need to work on that. It's not like that's just a fact.
And I think we women are like the worst on each other with that. And everything feels like it's almost always a competition, and it's not a competition. Like, no. I hate the oppression Olympics. That's what I forgot who calls it that. Like, oh, actually, my fatness is worse than your fatness. I also have that's dumb.
Like you said, there are skinny people who have diabetes. I mean, that's where personally, that's where I was headed. When I worked at Ulta, I was working at a mall in Albuquerque, and my diet, like, this is so embarrassing, but we're all honesty, right?
Yeah.
So in all honesty, I would start my day off by going to Cinnabon, and I would get cinnamon dips for breakfast. I'd drink a large iced coffee. I'd work my shift. For my lunch break, I'd go up to Auntie Anne's Pretzels, and I'd get a large pretzel and a large soda for lunch. And then on my way home, I'd grab like McDonald's or Panda Express or some other kind of fast food because I was 18 and didn't want to cook. And I was at one of my skinniest points in my life because I was on my feet all day at Ulta waxing eyebrows. So I was still, very active.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got a sit-down job, that's when I started to put on the weight, was when I was sitting at a desk every day because I was still eating the same.
Yeah.
I was still eating. And that was when my husband and I met. And it took guts for him to talk to me about this, but I had told him about my struggles and my family's struggles, and he thought I was beautiful, and he loves me, like you said, any way that I am.
Yeah.
Like the cutest thing I ever heard was that once you're married, like, you become their standard of beauty. Aww. And so anything you are is their standard of beauty, and so that nothing is more beautiful than you. Which I love the idea of that. I'm sure that that's not always true. But
it should be.
But that's the thing, is I knew my husband loved me, and I knew he thought that I was pretty, and I knew that he didn't care if I, was 5 or 10 pounds different than what I was, either heavier or skinnier.
Right.
But he saw my struggles with my family with, obesity past, and he saw what I was eating, and he's like, honey, he's like, I am worried about you getting diabetes. He's like, you're going to have issues. He's like, I don't care if you ever gain weight. You're going to have so many problems just from all the sugar that you're consuming.
Yeah.
And I didn't like hearing that. That was hard. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't like it. But now, like, Ryan is my biggest supporter. Like, he helps me, and sometimes it comes across as harsh because, we're women and we're emotional. But, like, he helps me, and I ask for it. I'm like, I need help. I need you to hold me accountable. I need you to tell me no. And then I just don't like being told no. And it's like, well, I asked for it.
Yeah. No, that's really good to have a supporter with you in that.
Right.
And it's also good to have someone who's going to be honest with you.
Yes.
Because the reality, and especially women, and once again, I think it's because of everybody's insecurities.
Yeah.
People are so quick to, oh no, baby, you're fine the way you are. Oh, if you don't want to work out, you don't have to. And it's like, no, I need someone to be like, hey, like,
let's do it.
Like,
you need it.
Let's kick each other's butts. You need to do this today. Yeah. And for whatever, we don't do that to each other.
And so I think that's what we're hoping to help do with each other, obviously, is tell each other, we need to lose some weight and just be healthier.
Yeah.
And we're going to hold each other accountable and make sure that we're doing it. And so if you also need to be or want to be held accountable or need help, we're not going to be hardcore, like, military, like,
no,
you need
like,
to
we
do
won't
this,
text
or,
you
like,
every day or anything.
We know that you're going to have off days. You're going to take more rest days than you should. You're not going to eat perfect.
Or you're going on vacation.
Right.
That's another thing too. People
I have a vacation coming up this week with my mom. I'm going to eat and drink and be merry. Yeah. Like, I'm going to have fun. It's my birthday trip. Like,
things happen. Fun. Yeah. But the thing is, like, when those things happen, like, when you get back, like, get back on it. Yeah.
And that's going to be where it's really helpful to have a supportive team that doesn't just let me say, next Monday. It's going to be like, no, Bailey, you're back from your vacation.
Yeah.
Let's get on it.
I'll text you that morning, actually.
That's perfect. Like, I love that.
Did you exercise?
You know when I'm getting back. So you do that, please. But yeah, so anyone who wants to come, join our page, follow us, follow along with our journey, and we'll help hold you accountable. If you want it, you can ask for it. If not, just help hold us accountable to send us love and support and advice, tips. If you have any, like, workouts that you like, tips, videos that you like, foods that you like that are healthy. I mean, any of that is much, much appreciated.
Yeah. So I guess that wraps this episode. You have anything else you want to add?
No. What about you?
Oh, actually, I do. I do. Yeah. I'm doing the 75 hard challenge. I don't know if you guys have seen that on Instagram. Tons of people have done it.
I'm too scared to do it.
It's really not that bad. My friend actually encouraged me to do it from her friend. So we are both, I guess the three of us are doing it. So if you're doing it too, let us know. We can, like, encourage each other. There's, like, a little app, and you can post what day you're on. And
I might start that when I get back from my vacation so that I'm, like, on a different day. So if y'all want to start it with me.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we can like make that a thing. Like, hey, everybody, let's join together. And I'm on day 14, I think. And I guess I wouldn't mind starting over because it's not going to hurt.
I think if you keep going, then we can start a new thing once you're done. Because everybody's going to be on a different page. Some people are already on a weight loss. Like,
that's true. Yeah. So basically what it is drinking a gallon a day, keep sticking with a diet. So like if you're already doing like keto or paleo, or if you're doing vegan or whatever, sticking with that, no alcohol, no cheat days, and reading 10 pages of a self-help book. So it could honestly, sometimes my 10 pages are like my devotional. And then it's all that I should know. Oh, and then taking a picture every day. So it's just those simple things, and it's for 75 days, and you keep going. If you mess up, you have to start over. So it's just like keep going. And so in my head, I'm thinking like, so yesterday I had a slither of cake. My friend graduated.
That doesn't sound like it's like breaking your diet. That doesn't count.
Yeah, that's what it was a slither, and like I was going back and forth. I was like, okay, do I start over or do I like keep going? I was like, you know what, at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna keep going, because also too, if I start over, it's going to discourage me. And number two, like I did everything else. I drank my gas. Like it's,
well, that's the thing that's unrealistic. I mean, even for 75 days, it's unrealistic to think you're gonna go 75 days without a single treat, without a single sliver of cake. Like, no, that's right. And that's where again it gets too far to one side or the other. It's like, you can have one sliver of cake and you're fine. Right. If you have one sliver of cake with every meal, you're not fine. Right. That's the thing.
And if I start doing that or if I go, okay, so today I'll have a Reese's, and then tomorrow, like that's where the problem, right. Yeah, that's where the problem lies. But like, this was a special occasion. I think that it's okay. So that's what I told myself, and I think it's okay. I agree with that. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the only thing I wanted to add. So
cool. Yeah, no, that's perfect. And like I said, I'll definitely look at starting that too. But
yay. And you should too, everybody listening and watching. You guys should.
I'm doing a Chloe Ting challenge, so hopefully I finish that out before my birthday. But yeah, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys for watching today's episode of Those Other Girls. Make sure you also listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, and make sure you subscribe, you like, you comment, and you share this with all of your friends.
And make sure you follow us at Those Other Girls Podcast on Instagram.